Replayability in video games. What keeps us coming back? This is a question that every game tackles differently, and that every game studio has a different answer to. You can either give the players the tools to create their own replayability loop by having a high creativity and skill ceiling in your game that will reward you if you're willing to put in the time and the effort, or you can consistently be releasing new and fresh content to keep them engaged, always looking for what's next. At which point the replay value matters less, because it doesn't need to be indefinitely replayable, but only just enough to keep them interested until the next update. Now every game has a mix of both. They all ideally strive towards a consistent update schedule, so long as the game still has a sizable dev team, cough cough, while at the same time having complex enough mechanics that keep players coming back for the grind. To what extent they manage to blend these two aspects together, now that's a different story. Ideally, one would have a perfect balance of both, but that is rarely the case. The games that lack mechanical or strategical variety and would therefore benefit from frequent updates lose their player base when the content is not delivered on time, while some other games barely rely on new content to function. When's the last time CSGO added a new weapon or map people actually play? Exactly. Games like Rainbow Six Siege, Team Fortress 2, Rocket League, they don't need flashy updates, because their foundations have proven to be strong enough. Just like with pizza. The base recipe is simple, but the dish is filled with flavors, and sure you can top it off with like pepperoni, bell peppers, fucking pistachios if you want, but the default margarita on which it all lies is timeless. On the flip side, you have games like Fortnite or Smash Ultimate, where every hint of a possible new release gets millions of people hyped and speculating about what crossover is gonna come next, while also being skill-requiring titles, so it's no wonder that these games are so successful. Obviously, when it comes to smaller games, meant to be played every now and then to take a break from your main big games, this all falls apart. Small games like Duck Game, Stick Fight, and Broforce don't require updates or massive skill ceilings, because no one expects you to become a professional stick fighter that plays the game 8 hours a day. These games only need to be just different enough from the big MOBAs and shooters to keep you playing for years on end, admittedly small sessions at a time. Now this is fine and dandy, so you just need one big bonkers skill ceiling and new content every week, right? Well, many have tried and failed. Things are not so easy. A high skill ceiling means nothing without balance, because without balance your efforts are not rightfully rewarded, because someone can use overpowered aspects of the game to get similar results with less effort, and balance and new content don't go hand in hand very well. Balance is by definition something fragile, and any new addition can make said balance tip over balance. Few are the studios that manage to consistently ensure that content releases are fair for everyone, and many techniques have been tried. Some games have test servers where people can try out the new features before they're added to the main game, but the issue with these is that since people don't try as hard on these servers because there's no ranked system and you don't get XP or rewards from playing, the balance issues, as glaring as they may be, often go unnoticed. And even if they don't, developers rarely change anything to the final product besides some bug fixing. So what ends up happening is the new content is often banned from the competitive scene, and it is either intentionally too powerful in order to get people to play it, or too underpowered because of the fear of breaking the game. And that's the scenario where the developers actually care about the competitive aspect, but some games have their developers completely disconnected from it. So the community has to make its own competitive rules and ban any new weapon from tournaments, which doesn't help on keeping things fresh. But now we're beginning to tackle a whole new problem: how do you make the game balanced at both the casual and competitive level? And that's the dead horse we're gonna beat in another video. Anything that manages to surprise the player will greatly reduce repetitivity in the process. If every level is the same, there's no way I'm coming back to your game. But if every session feels different and has an unexpected factor to it, then you can bet I'm gonna be playing for thousands of hours. Some games heavily rely on RNG to achieve this, like Faster Than Light or Enter the Gungeon. The end goal is the same in every run, but the journey to get there, your story, changes every time, which gives so much more replay value. Unlike games like Super Mario, where once you finish every level, the only reason to start over is to get higher scores or attempt speedruns until you're fucking sleep deprived, or endless side quests in the case of Skyrim. But too much RNG is another problem, because it takes away from the control the player has over his own odds of winning. So you need some stability to allow for good players to reliably get good runs, without relying on lucky turns of events. But that's something we'll go over in another episode. Then how do you explain that people are willing to play Dust 2 or the same MOBA map over and over again? There's no wow factor to it, it's always the same. Well, in the case of online games, you can't let RNG have as big of an impact on you as you can in a single-player roguelike, because nobody wants to lose to their opponent and take a hit to their ego because of RNG. People want games to be fair, and that's fine, because what makes every online match different is people. People are the random generated numbers. The unpredictable factor is who you're gonna go up against in your next match, who your next teammate is gonna be, what your mama insults is he gonna come up with once he sees you're below him on the scoreboard. The PvP aspect will spark competition and ranked ladders, and is often enough to keep people wanting to play more rounds. Remember how earlier I talked about how Smash Ultimate keeps players engaged with new content? Well, that was a bait. Take a look at Smash Melee. The game is still going strong considering its age and proves just how much a strong foundation is more important than new content. The same can be said for TF2. In the end, new content is the cherry on top, something that can nicely complement an already great game and even keep part of the less invested fanbase coming back for just a little longer and extend its lifetime in the process, but it only delays the inevitable if the game is bound to die because of the weak ground it is built upon. Different playstyles and possibilities given by the tools the game provides, which allow us to discover and invent new ways of playing, is one of the aspects that keep us coming back to games. Take Minecraft, where you can play PvP servers, do your own survival adventure, or create funny giant penises in creative mode. Garry's Mod is another prime example of this. But one doesn't need minigames to find new ways of playing. Just look at the soldier from Team Fortress 2. His weapons alone allow for playstyles, ranging from what can only be described as a warplane simulator to literal guacamole. The mastery of a weapon, to be one of the best at one class which we partner along, to rule onto everyone else, the grind of a ranked ladder as we sharpen our skills and relentlessly beat the shit out of everyone in our way, only to say GG well played at the end of the match. These are the aspects that keep us coming back to our games that we have such a love-hate relationship with. Or, you know, just playing with friends.